According to the Oxford Dictionary, history can be seen as the whole series of past events connected with a particular person or thing. History helps us understanding the experiences of people in the past, but there is more than one side in each story. For example, if we only read about pharaohs in ancient Egypt, we won't get the whole story of how was life back then. So, what is history for? What drives historians to keep searching for the lost stories in the past? Is it the desire to solve mysteries and fill the gaps? Or does it help them to understand the present to inform the future? According to the Herodotus of Halicarnassus, history as a subject was created so that human achievements may not be forgotten in time.
More than being just an area of knowledge, history can be related with other areas of knowledge, such as human science. Since human science are the systematic way of studying human behavior, we can say that human behavior is the main factor for the formation for what we call history, because humans, people, masses, are the ones who make history. The ways we act and react make us do those actions that had marked the world, and not only what we do, but also how it all affects our surroundings. As an example, we can take all the historical events we have learned in history classes. Since we live in caves until today, the way we behave had led humanity to many wars, revolutions, agreements, and those situations are the ones that have driven our generation to where we are now. So, human behavior is the main reason that has caused what we now call history.
When it comes to study history, there are certain things people must keep in mind, like the fact of knowing that historians usually make a selection from the available evidence. There is a sense in which history books are a trace removed from what actually happened, but even knowing this, there is still the fact that past no longer exists. History seeks to reconstruct it on the basis of evidence that can be found in the present, even though they cannot be taken at face value. Reliability can be seen as the factor that gives us the certainty of the source we are searching something from. In history classes, for example, we used to analyze pictures, mostly cartoons, but there were also photos, draws, articles, posters. And we couldn't take for granted the source which the pictures come from. It was known that photographies were more reliable than a draw, or that a letter was more reliable than a newspaper article. So that's when we go to primary and secondary sources, which makes a huge difference when it comes to reliability.
Historians work is to record and study events, to separate important and unimportant events that happen in the past. We have to look for the ones that left an influence nowadays, events that produce a big impact in history. Resources are also an important factor in making a difference between important and unimportant events. Primary sources are the most awkward. When we talk about trying to reconstruct the past on basis of evidence, we may have two problems: too much or too less evidence. Most past history is based on the writings of just one or two historians. Nowadays is the positive. There is too much evidence. Perspective takes an important role when it's about driving into conclusions, as everyone has their own way of perceiving the world, may misinterpret the evidence that exists.